Hey guys, I am super excited to have you here today. And today I want to look at a very important aspect of cybersecurity, and not just only aspect of cybersecurity, something that will affect you in every area as long as you are in tech. And we want to look at Python programming. Python programming. No, not this Python. No, 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 not this Python, not this one. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Python programming. This is what I'm talking about. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. And so we want to learn how to use Python programming to solve cybersecurity challenges. And so you might have been learning cybersecurity, but then all that you have been using is third-party tools. And so I am here to show you exactly step by step how to use Python to achieve your goal. I know you have learned Python. You have seen so many tutorials, so many, but then this is very good for you and it's important for you. Why? It is because it is focused. Majority of the Python programming you are seeing outside there are actually generic aspect of Python, general Python, they are so on. Some of them they are not specific, they are not focused, and that is why if you are a cybersecurity professional, aspirant, or someone who is interested in cybersecurity, then this is actually for you. Stay tuned as we continue. So the first thing first, in just as in every aspect of programming, the first thing first is to understand what the programming is all about. Now, we have languages, different languages, just like we have English, Spanish, German. These are basic languages that is used for communications or to make you to interact or collaborate with one another. In the same way, for computer to interact with each other and to interact with us, there is a need for a language to use, and you see different aspects of languages, you like Java, like Golang, and C++, and so on and so forth. So why do we choose Python as an aspect of programming to use in cybersecurity? One, Python is as simple as ABCD, and so it is easy to learn. The syntax are actually easy. Everything that has to do with it are very basic and very simple. And secondly, is that Python is versatile in nature. It means that it can be used for different purposes. You can use Python for cybersecurity, for data analytics, for data science, for machine learning, engineering, and AI engineering, and everything that you can ever think of, especially the modern tech, are actually used, majority are used by Python. And secondly, Python has it's an open source. And so you don't need to actually, it's not a premium programming language, it's an open source. And it has a large community that actually support it. And that is why you need to learn Python if you actually want to succeed in cybersecurity in this age. So let's deep dive right now what Python programming is all about. And so the first thing to do in order to use any aspect of programming is what we call the IDE, Integrated Development Environment. And so you need a place, Integrated Development Environment. Let me just explain it to you in basic aspect as if you are a one-year child. And so integrated development environment is that just place where you write your code, where you write something and you create a file to write your code and then to achieve a specific task. So that is what is called integrated development environment. And we have thousands of many of integrated development environment we can use, especially in Python programming like Tony, which is Tony. Let me show you Tony, so you know it whenever you see it. So Tony, you have Tony. So this is Tony IDE. So it is actually an environment it's a for beginner. But then in this tutorial we are not using Tony. In this tutorial we are using Visual Studio Code, and so which is summarized as VS Code. So you go to your browser, VS Code. You go to your browser and search for VS Code, and look at it here, sitting here quietly looking at us. And so look at it here. So depending on the depending on actually the operating system you're using, whether you're using Windows, Mac, Linux, or any other operating systems or distro, you can that VS Code actually have for each operating system. So when you go to the web browser, search for VS Code or Visual Studio Code, they are still the same. So you see here now, you can say download for Windows because I am using Windows operating system. So all you need to do is to click on download, and you will see it here. It will start downloading. Look at it here. It will start downloading. Let me just download it. So it will actually start what? Downloading. So actually I've downloaded it before now, so I don't need to download it again. But in your own, just try and download it. So that is what you need to do. So when you download it, you will find it in your download directories or download folder wherever you download it to. So if you download, so look at it here. So you can, all you need to do is to click on it. When you click on it, you install it just as normal ways you install applications on your system. So let's just give it some time for it to boot or to load. So that is what you need to do. The second thing that we need in this is Python itself. So we need to, because Python is actually a language, we need to download it so that we'll be able to use it in our default systems or in our, so we need to actually download it and install it on our system. And so if you are, but however, if you are using Linux operating system like Kali Linux, you don't actually need to download Python because Python actually comes with it. But right now we are not using Kali Linux to run our code. We are using a Windows operating system, and that is why we need to download Python. So you go to, remember I told you this is not the Python we are talking about. This is not the Python we are talking about. So follow me, let me show you the Python we are talking about. So you go to Python programming. So go to Python programming. So go to Python programming. So you see here, so python.org, so you see it here. So you click on, you scroll up, you see this is Python, you see download. So when you see download, you see two different ways depending on the devices you are using, as I've explained before. So it will automatically pick up your device. So when you want to download it through the manager, the Python installer manager, or you want to get actually a standalone Python. This is Python 3.4.145. So, however, I will always advise you make use of the lower Python, maybe 3.10 or other 3.11, so that because those ones are actually have a good community that have managed it, and since this one is just coming, but for now, for us not to waste our time, you can actually download this. So when you download this, just click on download. So when you click on download, you see it here. So we are going to download it here, and you will see it here right now. So it's downloading. So when it finishes downloading, you can now install it on your devices. So it's still downloading. So let's download it and see what it will give us. So okay, remaining few seconds for you to finish the download. So let's wait for it for a minute. Okay, right now it has finished downloading, so let's just go straight and see what will happen. I know you are super excited, just as I am. So go to your folder where you download it to. So go to your directory or your folder where you download it to. So this is Python 3.14. So let me just actually check the one I'm running on my system right now. So let me go to programming, program. So So let me go to program. Okay. So let's give it some time. So right now, let's see the Python version that is running on my device currently before we install the other one. So I'm using Python 3.13. So that is the one running currently on my device. So you can download any version of your choice, as I said, but because of this class, I will say install this for you to see. So you go to download. So when you go to download, you see, so we want to download the VS Code, we want to install the VS Code. So click installation, you click can run as admin or just start it up. So right now, so installer are not meant to run as admin, okay. So just don't run as admin, just click on open so you can see agree. It will ask you, do you want to create a desktop icon? Say yes to it. So yes to it. So check all these things. So allow you to check all this. So click next, click install, click install. So it's installing. So it's installing right now. So let's when it finish, we'll actually see what it is. So right now is remaining few seconds or minutes for it to finish extracting the file, installing very well. So I believe you are also trying it out at your own end right now. So if you have not downloaded, just go straight to your browser right now. Make sure you are connected to the internet. Go straight to your browser and download VS Code. And so that we can start together and start the work line accordingly together. So that is that. So VS Code is actually popular in the world of programming. Majorities of programmer uses VS Code because of its versatilities and actually easy ways to actually run code. And one thing about it is you can use it to write different program, use it to write different programming languages or from anyone you can think of. And so that is why it is suitable for every aspect of programming. So it has finished. You ask us, do you want to launch? Yes, we want to launch because we want to start immediately. So you click finish and it will launch VS Code for us sharply. So just stay tuned. So it will launch VS Code for us right now. So it's going to launch VS Code for us right now. So uh, so sorry, let me log out for it because I have it in my system before. That is why it pick up my system immediately. If not, it will not have been like this. So I want to take you to the elementary part where you can actually see things for yourself. So so let me create a new window and see. Okay. So if you, so this is, I believe this, I think this was much better for me. So if you launch it at first, this is what you exactly what you see in your home. You see new file, you see open and so on and so forth. So you say walk through, get started with Python development. You say get started with Jupyter Notebook, get started with PowerShell, get started with container and so on and so forth. So you don't need to worry about that. So just stay tuned. So the next thing we want to do is to go back and install our Python. Remember, I'm not talking about this Python, this one. I'm not talking about this particular Python, this one. So I'm not talking about this. I know some of you like this actually. Some of you are even wearing it, but then that's not what we're talking about right now. So we are talking about this Python. So joke apart, let's go. So we have a Python 3.14 with us here. So just go ahead and install. So go ahead and install it on your system. So it say you see install now. I say add admin privileges. So add a path. So do that. Then click install now. So when you click install now, it will start installation. So let's just give it some few minutes. So let's give it a few minutes and see how it is. So Python 3.14 is installing. So let's give it some time. So as this is installing, so within a few seconds it will finish installing. So within a few seconds it will finish. So it has actually finished. So it asks you to close. So close. So right now we have finished installing our Python programming. So before we continue, I would like to show you something, and I would like to explain some basic things that we need to know about programming. In it will be as applicable to every aspect of programming, whether you're using Python, whether you're using Java or JavaScript or whatever programming you choose to write on. You actually need to understand this basic. And so it has, these are the elementary aspect of programming. So I'm going to use, so what are these things that I'm talking about here? It is called, so the first one we want to look at is so-called syntax. The second one we want to look at is called semantics. And the third one we want to look at is scripting, or script as you may call it. So let's look at it and see what they are and how they are applicable in programming. So just as scripting or syntax simply means the commands, like that, that is just a basic explanation for someone. Let me say, as if you are a child, means commands. So when you talk about syntax, we are saying the commands that program use. So when we talk about Python syntax, we are talking about Python commands. When we're talking about bash syntax, we are talking about bash commands. When we're talking about JavaScript syntax, we are talking about JavaScript commands. Those commands that it uses to communicate, those commands that it uses to interpret things are actually what we call about syntax. And just like ABCD, we have been familiar with ABCD. So ABCD is like syntax for English language. Let me just use that. So we talk about syntax. This is spelling, syntax. So syntax. So we also want to talk about the second one called semantics. Semantics is actually semantics. It's actually the way in which the syntax are being written, the way in which the syntax are being, for example, or the structures or the patterns in which the syntax are being put in order or in place. So, example, if you are writing in English language, you write from left to right. That is the semantics. That is the way of writing English language. But then, if you want to write in Arabic, you write from right to left. That is actually the way of writing Arabic. And so you can see that every language has its own semantics, the way in which such language is being structured or is being written. So the next one we want to look into is what we call script. I believe you have been hearing about script before. So script or scripting is actually a process or a way of putting this bunch of syntax or bunch of command inside a file to achieve a specific goal or a specific task. For example, if I want to write in Python, I'll put and I want to write a program that can actually scan for open ports. So for me to do such thing, I have to create a Python file first. So when I create a Python file, I'll put all the codes and commands that I need to make that particular thing to be effective or to work. And so I can say such script is a Python script because it is written in Python and it's also in Python files. So that is why we call Python scripting or Python script. Sometimes you can interchangeably call programming or scripting. However, they are not actually fully the same. So that is the basic thing I want you to understand in programming scripts. So these are the three X. I call it the three S in programming: syntax, semantics, or script. So I believe you understand now the code. You can actually call syntax the code, or you can still call it the command. You are not wrong in any of it. So, or you can still call semantics is the structure or the ways of arrangement, or so anyone you will use to understand it, good and fine for me. So thank you. Let's move to another aspect. So the next thing we want to look at is the fundamental of Python programming. So let's look at the fundamental of Python programming. The basic thing you need to know about Python programming. Remember I told you it is easy as ABCD. So the basic thing you need to know about Python programming. Remember I told you it's as easy as ABCD. So the first thing we want to look at is so-called data types. Data types. We want to look at data types. And so when we talk about data types, we also know what data is all about. The information, the raw data, the raw information, the raw we collect to make, if it is in analysis, we can talk about the raw data information that we collect in order to analyze or to get whatever we want. So, but here, every aspect of programming has so-called data type. So the way in which the messages are being presented, or the way in which they collect their raw information. And so in Python, there are basic data types that we can look into. So the basic one is what we call string. So string is actually a plain text. Please take note of this. String is a plain text. It's a plain text. It's a plain text enclosed in a single or double quotation mark. So it's a plain text enclosed. Take note of this word enclosed, and also take note of this single or double quotation mark. These are the basic things you would like to know. So string are text or enclosed in a double quotation mark. And so the third aspect The second one is so-called integer. I know from basic mathematics, you know what integer is all about. So can you tell me what actually is integer from the on the comment section? Just tell me what is integer. Let me hear from you first. So just tell me right now. I will give you a few seconds for you to tell me what is integer. I want you to drop it on the comment section. What is integer? Now let me see those who actually did from the basic mathematics. Okay. However, let's go on. So integers are or integer is actually a number, a whole number. It can be a positive whole number or a negative whole number. So integer is a whole number, is a whole number either positive or negative whole number. So it's a whole number, either positive or negative whole number. So the third one we want to look at is called float. I mean a float. Yes. No, I don't mean that float you're thinking of. No. That's not what I mean. But I know what you. So float is actually a. So float is a number that ends with decimal point. A number that ends with decimal point. Decimal. Decimal point. I believe you know what is decimal point. Point something. So a number that ends with decimal point. So any number that ends with decimal point is referred to as float. The next one we'll look at is what we refer to as Boolean. Boolean. So Boolean is a true or false statement. A true or false statement. So Boolean is a true or false statement. A statement that can either be true or false. You can either be a boy or a girl. I know there are some rare cases where one can be a boy or a girl at the time. Yeah, you know that now. So what is the name of that? Please leave it on the comment section. So Boolean is a true or false statement. And so there are some situations in programming that you can actually say this is actually true or this is actually false. It can be yes or no. So it can never be yes or no at the same time. It is practically impossible for something to be yes or no, or for something to be true. I say at the same time false. So I say practically impossible, but technically it can be possible actually. So that is actually what the data type we want to look at. So right now, let us put it into practice. These basic things we have learned so far about data type. Let's see how we can implement it using Python programming. So right now, let's go back to Python. So let's go back to Mr. Python. So the first thing I want you to do for me right now is to create a folder, a directory on your desktop, so that everything we want to do will be inside that particular directory. So create a new directory and call it Python programming. Python, call it Python programming, or call it Python for cybersecurity. So call it Python for cybersecurity. So create this folder here. So we are going to open our Visual Studio Code is open here. So you see it here like this right now. So the first thing I would like you to do is to bring in this folder. So you click on File. When you click on File, click on Open Folder, or you press Ctrl K, Ctrl O. But then don't stress yourself on that. But then if you can do that, no problem. But right now I want you to click on open folder. So click on open folder. So go to where you created the directories or the folder on your devices or your system. So click on, for right now I created my directory on my folder on desktop directory. So right now I'm going to go there and click this Python for cyber security. So I'll click it right now. What? I'll click select folder. So you click select folder. So right now you'll see that it is configuring in for your devices or for the folder. So right now we have folder here, and so let me explain this aspect to you. So here is actually the folder pan. These are the two bars. These are the menu bar. These are the two bars. This is a play your outline. Then this is your work environment or your workplace. Then this is your panel aspect of it. So this is what we have right now. So we have a folder called Python for cyber security, but right now nothing is in this folder. So there are different ways to create a file, different files on Python. So you can create a file. So let us create a file. So click on this particular one here to create a new file, or press Control N. But then let's just click on new file. So click on new file like this. A terminal will open up for you here. So let's just save cybersecurity.py. py. So Python is the py. So py means Python. So python.py, you can see the system is synchronizing to make sure it fill onto it. So you can see we now have a text editor here, python.py. So there is another way to actually achieve this, and so there is another ways to actually achieve this in Python programming, and one aspect of it is, as I have explained to you just now, is that Python programming ends in the py. However, there are other aspects of way to say Python scripts. Then, and that is the one I want to use right now. But we'll come back to this particular one. This is the basic one. If you want to create a functional Python script or to achieve a task, we use this. But then, for the sake of this class, I'm going to use, because I want to use Jupyter Notebook. So I'm going to create a Jupyter Notebook file that will help us to use Jupyter Notebook. So I'll create another file here. I'll call it cybersecurity. I'll call it cybersecurity.ipynb. It means it's for Jupyter Notebook. Jupyter Notebook. So interactive Python notebook. That is what it means. Interactive Python notebook, and it's referred to as Jupyter Notebook. So we have. So I'm going to. So IPYNB. So I'll click enter. So you can see it will create a notebook for us. So the next thing you need to do is to go to extension. For us to use this Jupyter Notebook, we need to use the extension. So go to extension here. Extension is a marketplace where you can install other dependency or other this thing. So search for Jupyter. No, I know what you're thinking. I'm not talking about the Jupyter in terms of planets. No. That's not what I'm talking about. I am talking about language support. So Jupyter is actually a language support node. So I'm going to click on what? Jupyter. So you see install here. However, I've installed it already. That is why you see my own is saying on install. So in your own you see install. So click on installation and you will install Jupyter as straight as ABCD. So that is all you need to install for right now. And when we go on and we move on with our programming, we will look at different things that we need to do. So let's get started with Python programming. So I'm going to use these two things to explain to you why we use .py and when to use .ipynb. That means when we used to use a plain Python and when we need to use a Jupyter Python. So for us to create a code section, you click on this code cell. That is where, so for Jupyter, you see generate, this is AI support. Then you can now see code. This is where you could add a code section. You see a markdown cell and so see on. So we want to click a code section. So when you click on code section, you will see something like this. So let's get started. The first thing we want to look at is, you can see me, I'm using hash here. What is the essence of this hash? There's something called in program called comment. Comment has two different functions. One of the functions of comment is to actually help the programmer to make emphasis on his code or on his script. So it's a programmer's guide that is used to create emphasis on a program. So it can also be used to make a set of code to be inactive within a script. So it can also be used. So right now, if I type something like this, if I say get started with Python, let's say get started with Python. If I say get started with Python programming, so if I say get started with Python programming and I'll execute it, this button is used for execution. So if I execute it right now, so you can see nothing will happen because this is not a programming language. So get started with Python is not, it's just a plain text, just a normal text. So to deactivate, we are going to copy this right now and also copy it and come to this other file here and paste it here now, and you see that it shows error telling us that this thing is not a Python script or a Python program. So to overcome these challenges or to overcome this trial, we are going to use hash. We are going to put hash at the beginning of it, and so we can now say get started with what? Get started with Python programming. So we can say get started with Python. So when we say get started with Python programming, these particular challenges we encounter at first will no longer be there. So this is what we call single line commenting. Single line commenting. We are commenting a single line. Later on, we'll see multiple line commenting. So commenting can be a single line or multiple line. So let's get started with the basic one aspect of programming, which is called data type. So let's look at data type. So the first command in Python is called print function. Print is an inbuilt Python function that is used to display the user's input on the terminal. So it is used to, so whatever we put inside a print, it will give us, but it's like garbage in and garbage out. So it will help us to display. So we want to print something right now. So because it's a function, because print is a function, we are going to use, we can now say, we can put inside, so because print is a function, you open your bracket and put this and say let's say cybersecurity is a great course. So cybersecurity is a great course. So right now you can see something is asking us for two things. It said, do we need Python enable environment and existing Jupyter server? We say, let's say what? So let's use Python enable environment. Let's do that. So it's asking us which Python do you want to use. Because I have two Python, I have Python 3.14 and Python 13. So I'm going to still use my Python 3.1. Okay, because we are doing the same thing, let's use Python 14.5. So you can see here right now. So you can see that the color has changed. So when I run it now, you see, so it's connecting the kernel to Python to activate the Python environment. So just give it some time for it to finish doing that. So it said running cell with Python. This will require the IPL kernel so you can stay installed. So just install it. So it's just setting up your Jupyter node for you to be able to use. Remember, I was using Python 13.5 before now, 3.13. So right now we are using 3.4. So that is why it's setting up our system. So allow the configuration to continue, and then you will get started. Boom. So how is it on your own part right now? I believe it is still installing over there. So stay tuned. It's still actually running here. When you look at here, you see it moving. So let's just give it some time for it to finish installing, so that we can start on our journey. So here is actually what we refer to as a string. So this is a string. This is a string. So why is it a string? Remember our definition of a string here, that a string is a plain text enclosed in a single or in a double quotation mark. So it is plain text enclosed in a single or in a double quotation mark. So if I print again, I'll say welcome to cybersecurity. Welcome to cybersecurity. Welcome to cybersecurity class. So I'm going to put single quote right now. So welcome to cybersecurity class. So welcome. So you can see the two parts are actually. So let me run both of them. So you can see all of them running. It's been executed here. Say welcome to cybersecurity class. Welcome to cybersecurity class. So both of them is working, but they are all string. Remember, I said can either use single column or double column, double quotation mark. But then it is best advised or to using single quote has its own deficiency. It has been depreciated, and that is why it is good to use double quote. So this is called string. So let me explain to you something. If I say print, so this is a string. So let's look at another data. If I say print, if I print again, so if I print again and I say here right now, I say 10, for example, and I print. So you see 10. So here, this particular, I said, remember what I told you about data type. So who can tell me what data type is this? So who can tell me what data type is this? I say -10. So you can tell me from our previous discussion, who can actually tell me what this data type is? Is it a string, or is it a float, or an integer, or a boolean? Please leave your answer on the comment section below. So right now, this is actually what? So let me just look at your comment section and see what you have to say. So but then let's continue. So this is Python programming. So this is actually an integer. So this is an integer. Remember what we talk about integer at the beginning. We say integer is a whole number, either positive or negative whole number. So either positive or negative whole number. So that is integer. So right now we have a negative integer and a positive integer. So this is a positive integer, this is a negative. This is a positive. So this is a positive integer and a negative integer. So let me do something. Print. I'll print again. I'll put in 10. So just tell me what integer is this. So look at it. What is this? An integer? No, let's look at this answer. We have 10 and 10 here. So what data type is it? Is it an integer or a float? Just Leave it on the comment section. Is it an integer or a float or a string? So and then give reasons why you think it is an integer, why you think it is a float. So leave it on the comment section below. So right now we'll continue. So this is actually, they are all 1010. Now if you look at the output, you will think that they are the same data type. However, they are different data type. Always remember the definitions of each of these data types. It will guide you to be able to understand what we are talking about. So this particular 10 here and this 10 here, they are of different data types. So mathematically they are might be the same, but then in programming they are different because they are belong to different data types. So this 10 here, because there is double quotation mark and it's a double quotation mark, is at turn it has made it, though despite it is an integer by nature or by nature of writing, because it's a number, it has turned the number to a string. So remember, an integer is anything enclosed in a double quotation mark. Either it is a number or alphabet. So right now, we'll look at another one. So print, if I print again 10.5. So if I print 10.5 and print again 10.0. 10.5 and 10.0. So you can look at all of them here. So this is actually a float. So what is this? A float. What is the definition of float? Remember what we talk about float? Yeah. I hope you still remember. Do you remember? Okay. So if you don't remember, please go back to this. So it is better you understand. That's why definition is also important in programming. If you understand a definitions of something, you'll be able to comprehend what that particular thing means. So float is a number that ends with decimal point. A number that ends with decimal point. And so if you look at this right now, you see that this number ends with decimal point 0.5. But then if in mathematics 10.0 and 10, they are literally the same in mathematics. So they are the same. 10.0, anything point 0 is the same as that thing. So in mathematics, that's what that mathematics have taught us. I know you also know basic mathematics. Some of you are mathematicians actually. But then in programming, it is not like that. 10.10 and 10.0 are not the same. 10 is an integer, 10.0 is a float. So this is an integer. This is an integer. This one is a string. Despite the string, this is a float. This is a float. So this is a float, this is an integer. So this is float, this is an integer, this is a string. So you please make sure you understand it. What I'm teaching you from the elementary part of it is for you to understand where we are going to. Later on, we'll apply all these things to cyber security, and you see the importance and the power of Python when it comes to cyber security. So right now, if I print again, use the print function. I say print 10. Let's say print true. Print true. I say print true. So tell me right now, which one is actually a boolean from this? Leave it on the comment section. Which is a boolean from this three file, this one here? Which is actually a boolean? Is it the first one? Is it the second one or the third one? So let us run it and see what it will actually give us before we conclude. So when you look at it, you see this one give us true here, and means they are the same. But then this one give us something called name error. Oh, it has actually introduced us to another aspect of programming called errors. So if you understand errors, you'll be a good programmer actually. So errors in programming, error is just like a feedback the programs give to you. Say, this thing that you are giving me, I don't understand it, I cannot interpret this. Is this, what is this? So it gives you an error. And when it gives you an error, when it when it gives you an error, this particular error is called name error. This name error simply means that what you are looking out for, I cannot actually find it among what is here. So because the name that I am seeing is not the same name that are in this particular list of names that I have in my file. So the program or the computer will give you a feedback error and say, oh, this is actually a name error. And this one say name error, name true is not defined. So please take note of these two different things. This particular name error is different from this particular name error. This particular name error say, oh, I cannot find this thing here. But this particular name error say, oh, this particular name does not even exist among all this. So let me explain what actually happened. So this true here is actually the boolean. So in Python programming, true or false statements start with capital letter. So true or false statement start with capital letter. But this particular true here is a string. Remember what I told you about a string. I told you that a string is a text or anything enclosed in a quotation mark, either a single or double quotation mark. But then look at this particular one here, true. It is one, they have some deficiency. So this particular true here. Remember there are two things that is wrong with this particular one. One, the T start from lowercase. Two, the T is not actually enclosed. You can see that the color, by their color you shall know them. String always come look at it. So that's why I actually like so much about VS Code. It actually separates all this by colors as well. You can see this is red, this show greens, and so look at it there. So this is boolean, this is a string, but then it's seeing this thing as a variable which you have not actually come into. So you say true is not defined. So true is, look at it, true is not defined, and true does not have any function here. So that's what it's telling us here. So this particular code is actually wrong. This is also wrong because this is not, that is a string. So this is a boolean. This is a boolean. So remember we said that boolean is a true or false statement. A statement that can actually be true or false. It can actually be a male or a female. It can actually be a boy or a girl, and so on and so forth. So this is what called the data type. Hi, I hope you understand. Is there any question? Please leave your question on the comment section below. So if you don't have understanding, if there's any challenges or what you don't understand from what we have done, please leave it on the comment section. So wow, let's go back to another thing. Yeah. So let's move forward. So what we want to talk about right now is very exciting aspect of program. It's called variables. Now let me just give you an example, an instance of variable. What variable is all about. I buy a bottled water or a water store in a bottle container or in a plastic container. So I bought that particular water, and after finish drinking the water from the container or from that plastic container, I went further to actually. So look at this bottle. Just look at it. Let me use to explain what variable is all about. Though this is five alive, or yeah, this is five alive. So So this is five alive. So I finished drinking this juice from this container. And if I pour water on this container, what will you call it? Will you still call it a fruit container? No, you call it a water container. If I finish drinking the water from this container and I will pour oil, say red oil or whatever bag of oil, I pour on it. What will you call it? You can call it palm oil, but right? What if I finish from it and I pour palm wine? What will it be? It will not call it. Cannot call it palm wine container. So variable is a container that stores data's value. Good. Yeah, I believe you get that. Oh, I get sense. Well. Oh, yeah. So let's continue. So variable is a container that stores data's value. A container that stores data's value. It can store a string. Remember, we have to talk about different value. It can store string. It can store integer. It can store boolean. It can store float. It's different. It can even combine different things together. This particular thing now, I can have a palm wine and at the same time pour water inside the palm wine. Yeah, in that case, it holds both palm wine and water. So what are we going to call that particular category? Is it going to be water or is it going to be palm wine? Yeah, just leave your comment on the comment section below. So right now, let's forget about this. Let's go back to Python programming. So variable is a container that stores data value. A container that stores data value. So let's go through it and see the. So we'll create a new code section here. So let me clear all the output. So I'll close a new code section here. I'll call it what? Get started with variable. Get started with variable. So get started with variable. So variables are containers that store data's value. And so yeah. So let's say we have a name. Let's say your name is John, and we just want to store this name in somewhere. So we cannot say name is equal to John. So we can say name is equal to what? John. Wow, that is a great one. So we can say, oh, John, how old are you? We can say, it's just say, oh, I am 20 years old. So, but then we need to save the information of John somewhere else. So we can call it John's container or whatever it is. So we can say age is equal to 20. So maybe you say, oh, John, what course are you studying? And you say, John, say, oh, I am studying cybersecurity. Oh, that is a nice course. Yeah. So I can say course is equal to cybersecurity. So let's say that John partake in cybersecurity exam. Let me say ethical hacking, or what? Let me say digital forensic, or what? What do you want to talk about? Cybersecurity engineering? No. Okay, let's continue. So we can say John did very well. Did John actually do very well? Okay. So let's say score. Let's say John's score is equal to 80.5. Wow, John actually did well. Out of 100, John was able to smash 80.5. So we say now this is the information about John. So now let us see if we can give us. So if I run this particular command, if I run it, you can see it is showing me 0, but it is not going to give us any output. It's not going to give us any output at all. So what are we going to do for it to give us an output? Remember print. Mr. Print is here. Mr. Print is calling us. He said, oh, why are you calling me? He said, we are calling him to come and rescue us from this thing that we are seeing. We actually want to see the input outside. Yeah, don't talk too much. Yeah, don't talk too much. Okay, let's continue. So Mr. Print is here. So for us if I to call a variable, have you been to what called invocation? Yeah, I believe you have heard it before, especially those, some of you are spiritual in nature. You might have heard invocation, especially if you are an African. You might have heard invocation when there's someone, when it summons someone. So we are going to invoke the variable. Remember, it's not just we are invoking. No, we are invoking variable. However, so when you invoke variable, it or call what you call. When you invoke or call variable, it will give you the variable value. So when you call name, you know who has a name? John, right? So when you call John and you print it, it will give you only John. So when you call age, it will give you only age. But then look at something that happened. We call name and age together. Both of them will have come together. John and his age will have come out. Say, oh, John, say, oh, I am 20 years old. But then you can see what will happen. 20 only came out. So what could actually be a challenge? The challenge here is this, is that when you call a variable, the last variable override the previous variable. Yeah, when you call a variable, the last variable override the previous variable. So when we call course here now, when you invoke a course here, and remember, I'm not talking about, so you can see it is giving us cyber security. So you can see it override the previous one above. So this actually cannot work. What we want is that we want to say John age, cyber security, and the score that John has. So what are we going to use? I believe Mr. Print will help us in this. So let's print it right now. Say print. So print name. So print name, print age, print course, print score. Yeah. So when we have score, yes, is the spelling now? Why is it giving me funny face? Good. So yeah, good ball. Yeah, good ball. So now let us look at it at the output and on our system and see what it will give us. So let's print it out and see what it will give us. So I'm going to click print. You can see now it's giving us John 20 cyber security. So what if you want to say name John, age 20, course cyber security? Like want it to print it out like that. So what should we do? What we need to do is to put a print. What? Okay, print, you can help us out. So right now we are going to use a string, and this thing we can call it name, and then put this, and then put this, and then give a space, and come here again and do age here, give a space. Remember, when you're invoking a variable, you don't put it inside a string. So take note of that. When you're invoking a variable, you don't put it inside a string. So let's say course. So we now see a score. So score. So we have string, call, and so on and so forth. When we run this thing, and what will it say? Say another problem. Say syntax error. Wow. Do you still remember the last error we saw? What is that? Can you leave it on the comment section below? The last error we saw during when we are talking about data type. What was the last error we saw? That is name error, right? Yeah, got it. You got it. Yeah, you guess you have sense. Yeah, you are very smart. You are an intelligent student. Yeah, let's continue. So we'll talk about syntax error. What is actually a syntax error? Syntax error can happen as a result. Syntax error can be as a result of omission by the programmer. Yeah, omission. It can be omissions in space, omissions in commas, omission in anything. But then syntax errors telling you that, oh, this thing is actually correct, but you forgot something. That is what syntax error is telling you. So right now, what is this syntax error telling us? It said there is an invalid syntax. Perhaps you forgot a comma. That is what it's telling us. So where do we actually forget comma? Can it actually tell us? Yeah, it's pointing directly here. It says this Mr. Print that you introduced to us is actually telling us that you forgot a comma. So why did we actually forget a comma? Or why did we actually give us this error? Print can only take one argument. Every Python function, especially inbuilt function, can take only one argument at a time. So if you want to pass out two arguments, it means that you must separate them. That is telling that this is a separate argument. So we have a string here and we have a variable here. So for us to do for it, both of them to work, that means we need to separate it by what? A comma. That is what it's telling us to do right now. So let's do it and see what it will give us. So if we do that and click this, so you can see now, name John, age 20, course cybersecurity, and course and score 80.5. So clap for yourself. Oh, clap for yourself. You are doing well. Yeah. Clap for yourself. You are doing well. So let's continue to that. So this is what called variables. So variables is a container that stores data's value. It can store string, it can store integer, it can store boolean, it can store integer or whatever data type it can actually store. So let's move further. So the so-called input variable. You know, this is name and call it John. What if name has changed to Favor? What if the name changed to James? What if the name changed to Mercy? What are we going to do? What if the age, the score has changed? What if John no longer score 80, now just score 60 in animation, or 60 or 100 in web development? So what are we going to do? Are we going to throw away John's score in web development because he scored 80.5 in cybersecurity? So that is the idea of input variables. So input variable is telling us that now let me show you something. So let me show you something here. So let's come here. The first thing, so we have, let me start this starboard. So let me start this. So we have variables. I told you about variable already. Variable is a container that store data values. So input variables is also a variable, but this variable receive a user input and then give it out. So let me say this is, I have not forgot. How will I forget my 5 alive? Oh, 5 is actually alive, so I'm not going to forget it. So this is 5 alive. So this 5 alive originally comes with a juice inside, which is referred to as 5 alive. This is a nutrient juice like orange juice. So it initially comes with orange juice. But right now I don't want orange juice again. I want to put water. Is it holy water? What? Just tell me, what water should I put? So I want to put water inside. So if I want to put water, I will open it. I will open it like this. Look at it. I will open it and put water inside of it. So when I put water, I will close it back. And I say, oh, when I finish the water, I will go home. I want to use it still the same for another purpose. I'll say, no, this can, I don't like it again to be water inside. I want to put palm oil. Oh, I know some of you like palm oil very well. Just tell me, do you like palm oil? Have you used it before? Then leave it down in the comment section. Let's continue. So now I'll put palm oil, but for me to put palm oil, I need to open it again and pour palm oil inside it. For it to be palm oil can or palm oil container, whatever you call it. So it's such what we call user input. So user input receive an input from the user and store it in the container for a use. So input will bring us to what called input variable. Input variable is actually a container that stores data's values given by the users. So this part aspect, the user actually has a role to play. Now remember, from the manufacturers of this particular can, the only thing they did was to pour in orange juice inside this container and seal it up. That is the first variable we saw. They cannot do anything about it as long as this orange juice is there. If they bring pineapple juice, then they need a different container. But then an input variable tells us, say, no, I don't want, I still need this can, I don't want to throw it away. And some of you that like drinking zobo very well, especially in some aspect of Africa like Nigeria, that you use different container for zobo, you understand this very well. So I get sense, yeah. I know you get sense too. So let's continue. So that's what we refer to as input variables. So right now we look at input variable. How do we implement an input variable using Python programming? Remember, we are talking about Python, not this Python that you know. This one is not this Python, not this particular Python. Yeah, that snake that you are afraid. Not this one. No, we are talking about Python programming. So let's continue. So we say input variables, input variables, input variables. So we are talking about input variables. So input variables is that variables that, as I've explained. So all you need to do, the same thing we did here, but we are going to use input by saying name equal to input. Yes, you put that input. Input is also an inbuilt function, just like print. So print is the inbuilt function that gives us an output. Input is an inbuilt Python inbuilt function that collects something from us and store it. So the input variable, say input. What are we going to? That data are we going to input? We can now say enter. What is your name? You can say what is your name? So that is the first input. We can now say once again, we can say age. Age now is equal to input. Open here and say how old are you? How old are you? How old are you? Okay. So we can say cost is equal to input. What is your cost of study? What is your cost of study? Study. So what is your cost of study? So the next one we want to look at is score input. What is your score? So right now, so we will still print. So let me copy this. For us not to waste time, we still want to print out the output. So we can now copy that and write it. So when I press, when I run this or execute this, what will you see? Remember now, instead of printing out the input function, output for us directly, is waiting for our input, waiting for us. So we say, what is your name? Let me just say, my name is Cody. Let me just, yeah, what do you hear it? Cody. Yeah. So I said, my name is Cody. So you say, how old are you? Should I tell you my age? Do you want to hear? Ah, yeah, you want to hear? Are you sure? Okay, right now, let's forget about that. So I said I am 20 years old. So ask you again, what is your course of study? I said right now, I'm studying animation. So I'm studying animation. So, oh, that is a great one. So what did you score actually? Okay, let me say I score 70. So wow, you said Gode, your name is Gode, I study, you are 20 years old, your course of study is animation, and you score 70. What if the same Gode actually did cybersecurity? What do you think he will score? What do you think he will score? I'm asking you. Don't look at me like that. What do you think he will score? So right now, let's check it out. So let's check it out. So right now, how old are you? Maybe God there has become more older, so he's now 25 years old. So let's see what is the course of study right now? Cyber security. So now, what is the score? Let me say 100 over 100. Yes, yes. Don't look at me with that face. Don't look at me. Yes. Do you think I will not score 100 over 100? I will score. Yeah. So you can see now that the course of study, everything, so you can now see that any input you give to it is actually what it will give back to you. That is the aspect of inbuilt input variables. But then, we want to modify this output here. We don't want to see it like this. We want to say your name is Gode Ocheme, and your name your name is, so you want to say, oh, your name is Gode Ocheme, and you are so so years old, and your course of study is cyber security, and you score 100 over 100. Oh, give me high five. Just give me high five now. Give me high five. Ain't that right? At least it's not easy. I tried a lot. Okay, so let's joke about. Let's move on. So I'm going to comment out this, all these ones. So I'm going to comment out all this. So remember I told you about multiple line comments. Yeah, I think I told you from the beginning, but yeah, I know you heard me. So multiple line comments simply means you want to comment multiple line at a time, not one after the other. So for you to do that, use triple quote, triple quote. Open your ear, triple what? Quote at the beginning and then at the end of where you want to comment. So as you can see this, you can see that this quote started here and ends here. So everything in between the quote is actually out of the game. And so if we run this, assuming run this thing right now, let's run this right now before I do what. So you are saying name favor right now. Favor, favor is my name. What is your name? Favor is my name. Are you sure? Yes, so favor is my name. What is your name? Favor is my name. I say, what is your name? Oh, it's like I'll go and join choir after now. So right now it says score, I'll say 50. So you can see it print out this function here, only favors come out. So the other one did not actually show because it has been commented out. So that is the power of what? Of a multiple line comment. So like right now I want to modify this. I want to say, what is your name? So I can say name. I can say, I could use it. I say welcome. I can say your name. Your name is name. Remember to put comma is name. When we are invoking name, comma, you are you are then you are dash years old. Years, and your course of study is course. Your course of study is course. Your course of study is course, comma, and you score, comma, score. So right now I'm going to remove this one. Let me just remove this and let's see what it will give us here. So right now I'm going to run this again. What is it? Say invalid syntax. Where is the invalid syntax? Age and year, there's no comma. So error due to commas. So say what's your name? I'll say Favor. Favor is not my new name. So how old are you? I say 20. Say what's the course of study? I say web development. You say what's your score? I say 70. You can now say your name is, you can see everything is now, your name is Favor, you are 20 years old, and your course of study is web development, you score 70. So you can see that we are able to put everything inside one print. But then this particular print is actually challenging. Remember we forgot comma somewhere else and it flagged us an error. an error sign and say, hey, Mr. Man, you have forgotten something. What are you doing? I say, wow, what did I forget? Say, there is an error here. Look at it. It's called syntax error. So to overcome this, because when we go further, when we started implementing anything, to overcome that challenges, will not be able to do so. We use what we call f and string. So I'm still going to paste this, but right now I'm going to remove all the commas and all everything from it. I'll just leave it plain like this and show you how to implement f string on it. So I'm going to implement f string on it. So I'm going to implement f string on it. So let's see. So right now I'm going to put f at the beginning and put double quote. So when I put f at the beginning, I put double quote. So where we want to put our variable, we'll put a curly bracket to separate our variable. So you can say your name is name right now. You are age here. This age here will take a curly bracket to tell this thing this is actually a variable, and say your age and your course of study is course. We'll put another this thing here. I put another this thing here and your score here. So look at it here. So we put a color. So with this, you can see there's no too much commas for it to give us. So when you run this thing like this and say what is your name, remember I said my new name is Save. So you say 25. Say course of study cyber security, cyber security course of study score, let's say 80. So you can see all of them gave us the same thing here. They gave us the same thing. Let me remove this. Actually, I copied this. So they gave us the same thing here. They are all the same thing on name, but then you can see this particular one has not too much error. So I will advise you to be using this format instead of this format because of the error that might occur, especially when you have much interpretation to do with a print function. That is actually input variable. So clap yourself. Yeah, oh, we did well. So for you to be here till now, for you to watch till this level, that means you are doing great. So kudos to you. Chop knuckle. Yeah, chop knuckle now. Yeah. Kudos to you. Kudos. So right now, we want to look at another aspect right now. We call arrays. What is arrays? Okay, let me show you what is array. So let me show you what is array. Follow suit. Now, array is a set of a list. Let's say this is a list right now. Do you see my hand? Let's say this one is one list. Let's say this one represents a string. This one represents an integer. This one represents a float. So it's a set of array. It's a set of a list. So this list what we refer to as a complex data type. Complex data type. So we talk about simple data type. So the next thing we want to look at now is array. Array. So array is a list. Array is a set of lists. Let's call it an array. Array is a set of a list. So an array is a set of a list. So let's take it out here. Array. So arrays in programming and in Python, there's no single. An array is a set of what, as I say, it's a set of a list. So array can be, this list can either be what we call dictionary. it can be a list. So it can be a list, it can be a dictionary, it can actually be any other, it can be a set, it can be what would you call it? It can be a set, a list, a tuple. So these are all arrays. So when two or three data types come together to do something, you can call it what? An array. So an array can be a single data type, a multiple of single data type, or different data type coming together. So let's see the first array, the first list, and this brings us to complex data type. Complex complex data types. Complex data types. So complex data type one, we call a list. So a list, and so we use a list when we use this kind of bracket. So if I say a list of programming, so list of programming language, I can call it program here. I say it has a list. What is the list here? I can put the list here. I can say Python, the list Java, the list JavaScript. So list JavaScript, and so on and so forth. So this is actually a list. So it's a set of Python programming languages, but then it's not just one language, it's different languages. So we have Python, Java, JavaScript, and so on and so forth. So the list, remember, don't forget the primary data type. So if it is a string, just as this thing is a string, you must put it inside a string. Don't forget that. Don't forget that. I say don't forget that. Do you hear what I said? Don't forget that. So if it is a numerical, you put it inside numerical this. So if it is this is actually numbers. For example, I say numbers of a list. I can say here, I can say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is actually a list as well, but this is an integer. So I can also combine a list. I can say prognum, PRN, anyone. I can say probe number. I can say RN1 to. I can, so this you can say that we can combine. I can say RN1 to win 10. So these are actually set of a list. So different data types coming together. These are different data types coming together. So these are so you can see that these are different. This is strings and integer marrying each other here. So you can see these are actually called list. What the next one is called tuple. So one thing, okay, I will explain, tell you tuple. So tuple is also like a list, but the difference between a tuple and this is that we use a curly bracket for a tuple, but for a list we use a rectangular bracket. So you can now say the same thing here. I want to use this the same thing here to experiment, so we'll not waste much time on this. So I'll paste this Ctrl C. Ctrl V. So instead of using this, we use this bracket here. So when you see something like this, you know this is actually what? A tuple. That means actually a tuple. This is actually a tuple. So this is actually a tuple. So you can say, so you can see something here. So you can say Python. So one of the difference between this and this is that this is changeable. That I can change this thing. If I write probe to be another thing, and it will override this particular one. Or I can change here. But then this is not changeable. You cannot change when you finish writing this. You cannot change it any other way in the program again. So program will automatically become this. So when you use this, so what if then dictionary? Dictionary has what we call an item. So yeah, an element. So dictionary has an item and an element. So we call dictionary. Let's call it dictionary. Yeah. So let's say we have programming language or OS. So let's say we have OS programming languages and so on and so forth inside it. So if you say this one, so equal to, so dictionary use this bracket, coil bracket, not a circle bracket, a coil bracket. So that's what dictionary use, but then it has an item and an element. So the first element, let's say OS is the element here, OS, then OS here, OS is the element, then OS here has in it, OS here has what we call, sorry, so okay, so window, so OS here has window, comma, then you also have programming language, prolang here now. Let's say we have programming language as another entity here, so can I put this, so has its own this thing called Python. So you can say, so this is actually how variable dictionary look like. Then we have another one called set. Set is equal to, is here. It's also this, but set has no set, a set of operating system. I can say this is a set of operating window. This is a set of operating system. Linux, Windows, Linux, Mac. So this is a set. So take note, set has no item and this thing, just like dictionary. So this is one of the difference between set and dictionary. So you can see it here. So let's go to our programming and implement all this. So we cannot call another one, call it what? An array. So let's come to an array. We'll say array. Okay. So if you're at this level, I want you to clap for yourself. So array is a data type, as I told you. So let's say list of OS is equal to, so OS is equal to what? We have window, we have window, comma, we have Linux, we have Kali, we have Ubuntu, we have Fedora, we have Mac. So if you print OS now, let's print OS and see what it will give us. Print OS. So if you run this right now, it gives us an output here. If I type print another, I want to know the type of this thing like this. So I say print type, print type OS. So you can see that it's telling us it belongs to a class called list. So it's a class. So it belongs to a class called what? A list. So this is what we call a string. So I'm going to bring this thing here now. I want to bring this thing here. So I want to bring this thing here. Here, instead of here, I'll change this one here to this. I'll change this one to this. I'll call this one OS2. I say print print OS2. I'll copy this OS2. So if you run this thing now, you can see that it's telling us that, hey, this is tuple, this is a list. Why? Because what changes? Because of this particular thing here, the sign here, the bracket that I use is uses. So if I try, look, let me show you the difference between what tuple and this can do. So if I say print now, I've changed this thing from Fedora to Android now. This now, if I print it again, what will it give us? You can see it automatically it override because it's a list, override this thing here. So if I do the same thing for this, let's see whether it can be able to override or not. So we are going to do that now. I'm going to change this to Android too. I'm going to change this to Android. So I'm going to change this to Android. So you can say that it's also what change. So these are the difference between a fedora, a list and a tuple. Now there are another thing called index. Indexing, the so-called indexing. Indexing simply means get a point in a list, get a part of the list. So if you want to index, so in programming, indexing start from zero. So this is zero, this is one, two, three, four. If you are going in a positive as from left to right, so you start from zero. But if you are going the negative one, then we start from -1. So this one now become -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. So let us we want to print out only window type or Kali only. So what are we going to print? We are going to print OS 1. So print OS 1. If we print it now, what do you see? Kali. Do you see it, right? Kali. Oh yeah, try it out. Print out mark, let us see. So print out mark, let us actually see what it will give you. So this is what called an array. So I'm going to comment this out right now. I'm going to comment this out. Let's look at another aspect. Let's comment this out. So I'm going to comment this out. So let's say we have a set of dictionary. This is equal to, remember or set first. Let's use set, my set. I say OS set. Let me just use that. It's equal to this. So let's say set, we have window, we have Mac, we have Ubuntu, we have Kali. Print offset. So you can say, if I say print the type of offset right now, so you can say print type so print again is telling that this is a set. So you must take note. So if you want another thing you need to understand, if you want to check the type of data, you just put type. So it will tell you the type of data that is, if you are confused. So you can tell this is a what? A set. So if it is actually a dictionary right now, so if it is a dictionary right now, that means we have this We can now say this. I can say this. Let's say this is OS. I say OS1. I can call it what? Window. OS2. OS2. I can say Mac. OS3. OS3. I can say Kali. So if I print, let's say I can say O set this. So if I print this right now, so let me reprint this. So O set 2, I'll put 2 here. So let's print it out and see what it will give us. You can see what it gives us now. So OS1, window this is dictionary, and this is set. So clap for yourself, you are doing well. So if you are reading this stage with me, it means that you are doing well and you are willing to actually learn. So right now, so the next thing we want to look at is what we call loop. So loop simply means iterations. Loop, going through something, moving through something, a set of something. So you want to loop through a set of something. Right? Don't worry. I know what is in your mind now. Say, how does all this thing we have been learning concern cyber security? Yeah, calm down, just calm down. Take a bottle of water and relax. Relax. We are going there. We are going to implement all these things we have learned so far into solving a cybersecurity challenges or cybersecurity task. So don't worry, I don't, yeah, I did your back, don't worry. So right now I want to look at what? Loop. Loop simply means running a set, iterating through a set of data or a set of a list. That's what loop is actually all about. So iterating through a set. So we have two type of loop: for loop and also a while loop. In some programming like bash scripting, we have a for until loop. But then we were going to focus on only for loop and also so we have looping. So we also have looping. So we have loop. This means iterating through a set of data or list. So iterating. So we have for loop. We have not for as a number, no. So we have for loop, for, and while loop. Why? Why? I say why. So we have for loop and while loop. So for loop is means that let's say we have 3 lists now. I say out of these 3 lists, maybe we have 3 persons sitting here and say, oh, you stand up. Number 1 stand up, number 2 stand up, number 3 stand up. So that is for loop. I can say for all of you in this class, get out. So this is while loop. So while a condition is true, do something, or while a condition is false, do another thing. That is called while loop. So that's called looping. So let me create a new distance and let's see how it goes. Loop. So for example, if I say for I means anything. For I in remember, okay, in a range of 1 in a range of 1 to 5, in a range of 1 to 10, So I say print I. So you can see for I in range of 1 to this print I, what you say invalid syntax. Perhaps you forgot a comma. Yeah, Mr. Comma, we know. So you can say unexpected. So good. It brought us another error called indentation error. So remember we have looked at two errors before now. Can you name it? Yeah, leave it on the comment section. What is it? I can hear you. Yeah, yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. Don't worry. Thank you. You are doing well. So keep it up. Yeah, keep it up. So we have name error. We have looked at syntax error. Now we are looking at indentation error. What called index error? Indentation error is an error that comes as a result of space error. Yeah, let me just use that space error. When you have not given the right spacing, it will actually give you an error. So they do in when you're using function, when you're using inbuilt function like this, especially when you're using for loop, while loop, when you're using loop or conditional statement, you must put functions, you must use indentation or indent means. So we have two different ways to do that. Either you press when you put your date, you press a tab. You press a tab there on your keyboard. There's a key on your keyboard called tab. So press it one, or you press your space bar 4 times. 1, 2, like this. So one, this is a tab, or you can call yourself 1, 2, 3, 4. This is being done on using your spacebar. Say anyone you want to do, good and fine for you. But then the good part of this is that VS Code will just do that for us. So relax, don't need to bother yourself on that. So, but I just wanted to show you for you. So when you can see now, say for I in the range of this print what printer, you can say it will look from 1, which is the first, which is the starting point. It will look from 1 down to what to the list. So this is what you call follow. This is what called follow. So 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 if I say let's say another then while loop, let's say we have score to be equal to 10. You can say y score is equal to 10. What should you do? Print success. Print success. Print what? Success. So you can say it will be, this is while loop. The condition will continue. It will continue until there is something that happened. There is something that happen now. So this loop will continue to infinity. So while loop is also referred to as infinite loop. So to cut it, press Ctrl C on your keyboard, or you stop the process from executing. Stop the process before it will stop you. So let's stop. So that's for while loop. As long as this condition is correct, do something. What if the condition is not correct? Let's see it now. What if the condition is not correct? What should happen? Nothing happen. It will break. So that is for while loop and for loop. So another important thing that I think we don't is called conditional statement. Conditional what? Statement. So condition. In programming there must always be a condition. In programming there must always be a condition. So that's one thing you need to know. There must always be a condition. So life itself depends on condition. It depends on the condition you find yourself. Conditions sometimes determine output. So let's say John score in cybersecurity exam, John score 20. Yeah, let's say John scored 20. We can write condition, say if John, why am I using John? Who is John among you? So tell me, who is John among you? Okay, so if John is okay, before we come to conditional statement, let's look at operators. It will guide us very well. Let's look at operators. Operators. So we have what we call operators in this. Operators are, we have different type of operators. These are what the programming dependence. We have different type of operators. Operators. Let's look at it. Operators. One, the first operators we want to look at is called arithmetic operators. I know some of you will be thinking, yeah, I know you are thinking what I'm thinking. Yes, you are thinking what I'm thinking. So arithmetic what? Arithmetic operators, arithmetic operators, arithmetic operators, OP. So we have different arithmetic operators. One, addition, which is being symbolized with plus. Addition. We have subtraction, we have division, we have multiplication, and we have modulus. I know modulus. So what are the signs and the symbol for each of these? Addition, you know, addition. So minus, plus, division. So division goes like this. Multiplication. So multiplication like this. Note, not this. No. Not this. Multiplication is this. How do you get this? When you press shift and press 8 on your keyboard, you will get this symbol. So that is multiplication. The next one is exponential. Exponential. Yeah, what you people used to call raised to power. So exponential make use of two power. Then the next one is called modulus. Yeah, let me pronounce it like a typical village boy. No, I'm a village boy, you know. Yeah, yeah. Some of you calling me village boy. Why are you calling me village boy now? Why are you calling me village boy now? Okay, so we have modulus. So modulus go with percentage sign. So modulus also called dividend. So when you want to divide something a greater than or remainder, you use what? Modulus. I believe you are getting what I'm getting right now. So we have what? Modulus. So that is this is our arithmetic operators. We also have comparison operators. The number two is called comparison operator. Comparison. Comparison operator, and which are greater than, which are equal to, greater than, greater than, greater than, greater than, or greater than or equal to, less than, okay, let's put not equal to here, not equal to, not equal to, less than, less than, less than, or equal to. And it's being symbolized by this symbol. Please get it. Let me speak an Jalo. Okay, yes. Do you know that language? It's called Idoma language. Jalo. Apo, listen. Listen, open your ear. So you say equal to make use of double equal to in programming, not single equal to. Take note of that. So not equal to, this is not equal to, not, not equal to. So how do you get this symbol? This symbol is in one. Press your shift key and press 1. It will give you this exclamation equal to. So this not equal to, then this is greater than. I know some of you in your nursery or pre-nursery, they taught you greater than. Then I said greater than is like this, right? That your right, and less than is your left. Yes, like this. So this is greater than. Then greater than or equal to goes like this. greater than equal to, then this is less than, and this is less than or equal to, less than or equal to. This is called assign comparison operators. So let's look at the third operator, assignment operator. What we call assignment operator. Three, assignment operator. Assignment operator, OP. So we have assign as in assignment. Assign, and it's being used with one equal to, which means assign. As we are saying, name is equal to John, since I believe you are looking at John. So where is this John coming from? Where is this equal to coming from? And it's ringing in your brain. Don't want to ask. Ask. So assign, it means equal to. When you use equal to, you are assigning a value to a variable. That's when you use assign equal to. So another one is we have additional assign. So I'm going to bring in Mr. Arithmetic here for us to do this. So we are going to use this to complete this code. So this is assigned, this is additional plus equal to. They have minus equal to, which is minus equal to. This is subtraction assigned. We have division equal to. We have multiplication equal to. Take note of that. We have exponential equal to and have divisible equal to, modulus equal to, assign. So this is our what? Assignment comparison. Assignment comparison. This assignment comparison multiplication equal to, so we have modulus, so equal to. So that is assignment operators. So the next operators we want to look at are called logical operators. Logic. So now that is the fourth operator we are looking at now, right? So fourth is logical operator. Logical OP. So we have logical operators. So one of it is AND. So the first logical operator is AND. Yes, AND. We have OR, not AND. So you use AND when, so take note of when you use AND. You use AND when the two conditions are actually true or the two conditions are false. That means it cannot be a girl or a boy at the same time. So there must be a boy and or maybe it can be a boy and a cybersecurity at the same time. True. Let's say you are a cybersecurity student and you are a male child or you are a boy. You can say if you are a cybersecurity student and you are a boy, come inside. That means the two conditions is true. Or you are a cybersecurity student, or you are a boy, but you are a cybersecurity student. You are not a cybersecurity student. Don't come. That means the two conditions are not true. Yeah, you are a boy, but you are not a cybersecurity student. You are animation, web development, or other students. So you are actually a different distance. So use or when the two condition is actually, when one condition is actually true or one condition is actually false. For example, if you say you are a cybersecurity student and you are a boy, come inside. Or you are a boy, come inside. So if you are a boy but you are not a cybersecurity student, you can come inside. If you are a cybersecurity student but you are not a boy, you can still come inside. Yeah, it's simple as ABC. So you can say not and, that means it's not addition. So that is called logical operator. We have membership operators. Membership operator. Membership OP. So membership operator is when something is a member. So membership operator is and not is. That is membership operator. Then we have identity operators. Sorry, in, not is. In is membership. Identity operator. Identity operator. Identity operator. We have is and not is. So these are all the operators we have been talking about since how many years ago? So, so take note of it, go through it, you understand much better. So you understand much better. So I'm going to actually put out this my GitHub repository. So if in case you need some guidance or this thing, please I will take your time and go through this. Yeah, can go through this free of charge, no payment. Yeah, I get your back, man. You know now. So right now we want to look at, so we have understand logic. So let us look at conditional statements. Condition. So let's look at conditional statement. Statement that is condition is based on condition. Conditional statement. So a conditional statement is a statement that is based on a specific condition. And when such condition is being met, something else should happen. Yeah. So as I gave an instance of you being a student, and then maybe there's a class, and they say, oh, if you're a all the cybersecurity student, come inside. Why? What will make you to come inside? Because you're a cybersecurity student. So even though you're a student, but you're not a cybersecurity student, you cannot come inside. Okay, another that is one statement. In such statement, you use what called if condition. So if you are a cybersecurity student, come inside, and you'll be you will yes, you'll be raising shoulder because you're a cybersecurity student. Such kind of condition is called if condition. So if condition is used when you have only one condition attached to it. So the condition can be true or false. But then if it is true, something will happen. If it is false, another thing should happen. So another one is called, okay, let's look at this like this. If you're a cybersecurity student and you have paid your school fees, come inside. So even if you're a cybersecurity student, you have not paid your school fees, no class for you. Simple. Yeah, but don't worry, I know you have paid your school fees already. Yeah. So if you're a cybersecurity student and you have paid your school fees, come inside. Simple as ABCD. So to bring in such a secondary condition, a second condition we use what called elif. Elif. So if we can also say, if you have other condition, you continue using elif. So if I say, if you're a cybersecurity student, you have paid your school fees, and you are from Nigeria, please come inside. And so we have three conditions. Means you're a cybersecurity student, you have paid your school fees, and you are from a specific geography from Nigeria. Or if you're a cybersecurity student, you're from USA, come inside. So it is three conditions, and it's still the same. We still use LA. So what's even a condition? If you're not a student at all, it means what should happen to you? Tell me now, what should happen to you? Will you continue? Will you come inside or not? That is when we use else statement. That means if all this condition is not being met, do the last thing, do my last bidding. So I say, if you're a cybersecurity student, come inside. So if you're not a student at all, maybe if you're a lecturer, you're a staff, or a non-academic staff, please stay where you did. So you use what? Else. But remember, all these conditions are being written in small letters. So I'm using capital letter here for you to understand. So let's go back to Python. Let's Python everything together. Yeah, I know you what you're thinking about. I know what you're thinking about. So you have understand operators already. So we are going to use an example to implement everything we have done so far. So I can say, let's say conditional statement. Conditional statement. So conditional statement. So in conditional statement, as I said, let's say John has a score. Let's say score to be equal to input. Input. I've already told you what inputs are about. I say, what is your score? What is yours? Okay, let me not go that first. Let's say score is equal to, so score is equal to 50. So we'll bring in a condition. Say, oh, if you score less than 60, so we say if score is greater than or equal to 70. So score is greater than or equal to 70. Print what? Print distinction. Distinction. So if score is greater than or equal to print distinction L if, but if score is not greater than 70, L if or equal to let's say 50, greater than or equal to 50, then print credit. Credit. If score L if again, remember I told you the condition is more L if score is greater than or equal to 30, we print pass. Pass X. So if it is none of them, S, print S, you print what? S, you print try again, failed. Try again next time. Try again. So this is the information. So if you run it right now, what is it going to give us? Let's run and see what it's going to give us. You can see it's giving us what? Credit. Why? Because S is equal to 50. Score is equal to 50 here. So what if we use input variable here? Say input and say, what is your score? What is your score? So the user can actually input any score at all. So if we say input, what's your score? I say 20, for example. What will it say? Oh, there's a type error. Why? Because you say, look at the type error, not supported between instance of a string and an integer. So what is simply telling us is that this, whatever you enter is not an integer or not a float. But then you cannot divide, let's say John divided by 2. You cannot divide John into 2. If you divide John into 2, that is what called obituary. Is equal to what? Obituary. John divided by 2 is equal to what? Obituary. So, because we cannot divide string, or because we cannot carry out any arithmetic operators on string, we need to convert the string to a float or to an integer. Because it's much better, because if someone can have even point something, so you say float, so float here, open bracket, and then close bracket here. So right now, say float. So every input here will be inside a float. That is why we have float, because float is an input variable. So we can now run it again. When run again, let's see what it will give us. Say when run again, what it will give us. So I can now say 20. I press enter and I say try again. You fail. Why? Because the score is less than 20. Let's try again. If I say 100, If I say 100, what do you say? Oh, distinction. Ah, clap for yourself. So, but what if I say the score now is 1000? You say distinction, so there's still a problem within this code. So these our arguments have not conditions have not been fully structured because we want the score to just be between 70, between 1 and 100. So anything below 1 or anything above 100 should be invalid. So how do we implement such things? So follow me. Yeah, put in your yeah. Sit very well. Sit down very well. Oh. Oh yeah, shake your body, shake your body, shake your body, shake your body, shake your body. Yeah, let's go. So you see, we'll come here and put a conditional statement again. You say if score is greater than 100, is greater than 100, or score is less than 1, or score is less than 1, then print invalid word, invalid input, invalid number. Put a number between 1 to 100. So we can now come to here. If score is greater than 70 and score is less than 100, that is when you do this. So if score is greater than 70 and score is less than, you can see that the two conditions, you can see where you need to put and or. So we are implementing all the operators here, logical, comparison, and so on and so forth. So a score is less than this. So a score is greater than 50 and score is less than 100. It's less than 70. So it's less than 70 separately. Its score is greater than and score is less than. So and score is less than is less than 50 and score is less than 50. Print this. Elif score is less than 30. Less than 30. Print 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 what? Print you fail. Print you fail. So let's run this and see what it will give us. So let's run this and see the input it will give us. So enter this. I'm going to put 1000 as it is. What is a invalid input? Put a number between 1 to 100. I say, wow, okay. Let's put -1. -1. What does this say there? Say if okay, it's less than. Okay, so you can see the error here, and score If score is greater than 1, so let's use it greater than 1. Yeah, because we didn't put that greater than 1 and less than and score is less than 30. Okay, yeah. So you should be able to solve that problem. Let me put 1 now. So a score is greater than 1 and less than 30, print to what? Fail. So let's put minus 1. So let's see what it will give us. Minus 1. So invalid input, enter this. So if we run it again, and let's put 1 now. So you say if early score is greater than 1 and score is less than this, you say try again. So these are actually conditional statements, and this is how you implement conditions on your system, on your program. So the next applying this thing is called file handlings. How to handle files on your file handlings. So it's called file handlings. So file handlings, file handlings. So we are going to handle file currently. So this is file handlings. So the next one called file handlings. File handlings. So file handlings, before we talk about file handlings, let's look at file permission. So file permissions, we must understand file permissions. So we have 4 types of file permission: write, read, append, execute. So or read, write, execute, as you want to call it. Read, write, append, execute. These are the 4 file permissions that we have in every file. Read, write, append, execute. So you can actually read the content of a file, or you write into a file, or you append into a file, or you execute into a file. So let's see how it works actually. So I'm going to go to create, so you can see there's no new file here. So I'm going to create a file called domain. So what will I do? I say file, can say file is equal to open. So what the file name I want to use, let me call domain.csv, or let me use txt.txt. So I'll put a comma. I'll say now this is, so what do you want to do? We want to write. So you can read and write at the same time. You can read and write actually, but then we want to write. So we can say write. So we can say content is equal to file.write. So what do you want to write into it? I say, let's say example.com. 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 So we do example.com. So let's create it. So file.close. You must close the file. File.close to close the file. So look at it here. So you create file, open a file, you close the file, and then, or let's call the file name. Let's use file name. So yes, let's use file name. So file dot close. So if you run this like this right now, what we say in file handle, you can see it will automatically create a file for you here. File called on here, it can call domain.txt. Look at it here. You can see example.com. So let me manually enter order this thing. Facebook.com, teacher ochemic.com, ochemic.ng 192.168.2.4 1 Grace U USA.com. So all these are this thing now. So I have saved it, but then this is basically what we do before. So we created a file, we call it a file name, a variable, we open it. So you use dot open. So this is actually a function. To open something, use open in Python, just open. Just like we have print, we have input and so on. So to open a file, use open. So that is all we use what? Open. This is for what? To write into a file. So to write into what? To write into a file. So this file does not exist before. The file does not exist. So as we wrote it, it automatically created this file for us. So that was what happened. So it created this file for us automatically and putting only example.com. So if you want to add more, you can actually add more. So but then that is not the listing now. So that's the file handling. So what if you want to read a content of a file? So if you want to read the content of this file, let's see how to read the content of a file in Python. So want to read the content of a file. To read the content of a file. So to read the content of a file, you can now say file. So let's say read, let's call it read file is equal to open. What are we going to read? We want to read the content of this file here on the terminal. So say domain.txt. So comma. So but what do you want? So we are not writing again. We use what? R. So R and say content. Let's say content is another thing. I would say let's call this thing file. Anyone. So content is actually, let's remove file because file is a command. Content is equal to read file equal to read dot what? Read file dot read. So read file dot what? Read. So we are going to print content of what? Print content. Sorry, you are not putting it inside a string. Read content. What? Contents. So read file dot close. Want to close the content? Close. So this is actually how to read the content of the file. So let's read now. Let's see what it will give us. So you can say it read the content of the file or everything inside the file here, it will bring it up for us. So it first of all open the file. When you open the file, you use the R permission to read the file, and then we'll print out, we'll send the file it opens here, we'll read it, we'll send it into a variable called contents, and we'll read the file. That's why I put dot read. If you are writing, we put dot write. So we are now what? Reading. That's why I say dot read. So you can now see close here. So the next one is how to make read a content to add to an existing content. Want to add the first one is creating a new content. Now we want to add to an existing what? Content. Sorry. So we want to add an existing content. So we use what? Append. I'm going to copy this. Sorry, let us not waste much time. So want to write, so instead of using W here, you use A, which append means to add to. So it's still the same thing, everything is still the same. Here I want to put a distance, say google.com, google.com. And so you can see there was no Google before. So let me clear this output. So you can now see you have what google.com. So let me click on it again. You can now see, if you check our file, you can now see that there's google.com. But this is still that there's an error. It automatically put it here. It did not put it under. But what we intend to do is to put it under. So you come to this side here where you have right, come here and come to enter a new line. So /n. So when you run it again, you execute this again. So let's see what it goes. Can I see that they has put the Google under now? Let's see. So let's use new.com and see. News.com. So you can see it put it under for us. So you can put the new line before your variables. So this is how you can actually do it. So if you are with us till this time, congratulations to you. So congratulations to you. You are doing well. So clap for yourself. Woo! You are doing well, you are doing well, you are doing well. If you are with us till this time. Yeah. So let's move on. We'll get to the stage very soon. So this is file handling. If you want to execute a file, it's still the same thing. Still the same thing to execute a file like this Python file now. Let's say I want to execute this. Let's comment this one out. So the file, let's say new, let's call it S file. Let's call it S file. It's equal to open. What are we opening? Cybersecurity.py. Cybersecurity.py. So here we want to execute it. So we use S. So can I pass this to content is equal to S file dot execute. File S file dot close. So what is a file exists error? Is that spelling error here? Cyber file exit error. So now let me tell you why there's an error. Yeah, I believe you might be wondering. Now there's an error because of this command called execute here. I just want to show you so that I'll tell you the error. That's why I brought it here like this. So here should be dot right. Here should be dot right because else is a new distance. But then if there is no, so if I say cybersecurity 2, for example, so dot right, what am I writing inside it? I can write something inside. I say slash n cyber security is great. I dot close. Let's run it again. So you can see it will automatically create a new file for us and then import this particular thing for us. But then what this thing does to us or does for us is that it already created a permission privilege for this file for us. So it has created a permission privilege for this file for us. So if we want to execute this file later on, we don't actually need to enable permissions again. So that is the difference between using when you use this or this. So the next thing we want to talk about, which is linking us to aspect of cyber security, is called modus. Python or function. Okay, we'll look at functions. So we will actually look at function first before we look at modus. So everything here can be put inside a function. A function is a set of code. A function is a set of code that is reusable. A set of code that is reusable. A set of code that is reusable. So anything can be put inside a code or a function. Let me show you how function works. So I'm going to comment this out. I'm going to comment this out. So I'm going to comment this out. So I'm going to comment, so I say function. So function. So if I say greet, so if I say dev, so that is the beginning of function dev, then the function's name. Say let me solve the function name greet. Then you, because the function you put it there, then put what this. So anything I write, say I can say print good morning. Print good morning. So this thing cannot actually print because it's a function. It's working. That's why it says there until I invoke the function. So remember invocations. So until I call the function here called greet. If I say greet anywhere, so anywhere I put greet, anywhere I see greet, you will see the function will respond to. So I don't need to be writing this code every day, every time I want to do a function, something like this. So anytime I call greet, I will always see what the function being responding. So we'll see where we can implement it as we continue. So we want to look at modulus or modus, sorry. Want to look at modus. Modus is like a Python inbuilt a Python functions that have been put together to achieve a goal or a task. So a Python function that be achieved together, which you can use in your own script. So which you can actually use in your own script. And this leads us to our first task in cybersecurity. So we want to create a new file. Let me rename this file. So let me rename it as connectivity So you can see I'm using the py now because we want to create something. So right now we want to look at, we want to create a Python script. Remember why I define a script. We want to create a Python script that will go through a set of IP address, or that will go through a set of domain name, or that will go through a user input, and then go through the domain or the IP that the user gave, and determine if that particular IP address or server or a network is active or inactive. Ah, that is good, right? It makes sense, right? I believe you like this kind of project. So let us look at it. That's the first project we want to do now, connectivity, to check whether a Python script, whether a network is active or inactive, whether a domain name is active. Now, why it is important for that is, as a cybersecurity professional or you must not carry out activities on any network without actually checking if such network is active or not active, so that you don't waste your precious time. So what if I tell you can actually do that? Yeah. So let's continue. So we're going to import a module called sub process. So, so we import a module called sub-process. Sub-process, so let's look at what sub-process is all about. So let's go to this and say Python sub-process. Python sub-process. Python sub-process. So Cycle sub-process mode allow you to span new processes, connect to their input, output, and error pipe, and obtain their return code. This module intends to replace several older modules like OS.system and OS.span. And so this is, so what is the major thing I want us to understand here is that it allows spanning of new processes. And give us the input, the output, the errors, and so on and so forth. That's what Python subprocess is used for. So, so right now we want to look at Python subprocess. So Python, so we are going to use, so we want to do target. So target equal to, you can say target is equal to input. Say your enter your IP address or domain name. Enter an IP address or domain name. Enter an IP address or domain name. That is our target. So we can now say response. So response is a variable. It's equal to response is equal to response is equal to this is equal to subprocess dot run. So subprocess dot run. So you can put it, you are going to use a list. So for the argument. So what are we going to do? Remember ping. For those of you who are in cybersecurity, ping is actually a command that is used to go through a ping sweep to determine if a network is active or not. So we are going to use the same listener. Say subprocess.this and say ping, comma. So we want to know that because we are writing this code in a window operating system, we are going to use n minus n. So how many times do we want it to ping? We want it to just to ping twice. If not, it will do an infinite ping. So what do we want to ping? We'll say what? Target. So we want to ping target. So let's print. So right now, let's print our response to see whether it is working or not. Print response. Print response. So we are going to print our response right now, and then remember, you can see that this particular one we cannot run it like this here. So we need to run it on a terminal. That is the difference between using this and then using the .ipyp. So we are going to run it now. We are going to run this code. So it's running for us. So it's running for us. So you can see now it's asking us enter your IP address or domain name. Let me say example.com. Example.com. So I'll press enter. Look at it, it's pinging it for us. Look at it, pinging, it's pinging. What did it tell? Say complete process, ping this. Say return code is equal to 0. Let me explain. Or can you tell me on your comment section what you understand by return code is equal to 0? So what is literally saying is this. I can read the comment section. Just leave it on the comment section. Tell me what it means by return code is equal to 0. What do you understand by that? So return code is equal to 0 because it's successful. Yeah, that's what it means. Success. It's telling us that success story is that the result is successful. So that's what it's telling us. So that is the response is able to ping it and it's successful. But then that is not what we want to look into. So we want to say if it's successful, tell us that it's active. If it's not successful, tell us it is active. So can I say response if response dot return code if response dot return code is equal to 0. So if response dot return code is equal to 0, print target is active and alive. S print target print target print target is inactive or unable to connect. So let's run it now and see. So let's run it now and see. Say enter your IP address. I'll enter again example.com. Sorry. Yeah. Example.com. Press enter. So you can see, look at what it says. Example.com is alive and what? Active. Let me clear the terminal. Clear. So let me clear the terminal. So, but then we don't want to see this response. Let's run it again. Let me run it again. Enter your, say example.com. So we don't want to see all this ping sweep. We don't want to see all these things. We just want to see the result, whether the host is active or not active. So to do that, we want to send the result of this ping to a known environment. And in Python, it's called dev known. So we cannot say here, we put comma inside here, we cannot say std output. Std output means standard output is equals to subprocess.dev known. So any input output like this is going to give us, it's going to send it to a development environment. In known environment, that is the background. So standard error, want to put error in case it give us an error. We don't want to see the error as well. standard error is equal to subprocess dot dev none dot is equal to subprocess dot dev none. So let's run it again. So enter as example.com. You can now say example.com is alive and started. That's the only thing you tell us now. Let me clear it so that you can see it very well. So I'm running it again. So you can say enter your IP address. I say example.com. You can now say that the only thing it's giving us now is what? Example.com is active and alive. So if it is not active, you tell us not active or not alive. So that is what it will tell us about it. So that is how to do it. Now, the next thing I want us to implement is this. This can only work, this particular Python script can only work in Windows. What if it is the window is we want to make use of it in cross-platform, whether the software or script is used on Mac or used on Linux operating system. So this is what we want to do. We want to import. We want to import what called import another thing. Import platform. We want to import this is called platforms. So we can now say OS is equal to system dot platform. So let's check out. Let me show you what O platform is. Python platforms. Python platform modules. The Python platform is built to use to retrieve identifying data about an online platform, including hardware, operating system, and then the interpreter itself. So let me show you so that you understand it much better. You can now say platform.system to return the OS name, and then and so on and so forth. So platform.release to return the system release version, platform.machine to return the machine type or architecture, platform.processor to return the processor, platform.python version, platform.platform, returning a single string in all platform detail. Platform.username to return the username. So this is how you can use it. Say print OS equals to platform.system or whatever you want to do. So let's go back to our code. I just want to show you how to do this. So I'm going to stop this. So I can call here and put can say if say OS if OS, let's say OS is equal to platform dot system. So platform dot system can now write if OS is equal to window. If OS is equal to window, if OS is equal to Windows, then equal to window parameter is equal to minus n. X parameter is equal to minus c. So this is what we are saying. Saying if the OS is equal to what? So OS was last one. Say if OS is equal to window, then parameter is equal to n. S, the parameter is equal to minus what? C. So that is what we are saying. So now let's check this. So Windows, then this should be in a string. So this should be in a string. So let's here now, instead of using n here, we use parameter. So called para. So we can now say parameter is now. So if OS does this thing, or let's use current OS. Current underscore OS. If current underscore OS is equal to this, then parameter is equal to this and this. So let's run it and see what it will give us. So run this. Say parameter name not defined. So it said that the name parameter is not defined. So let's see how we'll do that. So you can know why it's giving us error, because this is the assigned value. It's not equal to this assigned value. So we can say parameter is equal to this. So that's why it's giving us error. So let's run it and see again. So domain example, Ctrl Z, example.com. So you can still see it, and so it is working. So if this script is actually on, if the script is being used on Linux or Mac or whatever it is, it will actually be used for it. So that is it, and that is what we intend to achieve. So another thing I want you to do by yourself, try and see if you, based on what you have done, if you can read through the file. So the next thing I want to do, I'm going to copy this now. I'm going to copy this and come to this file. So I'm going to copy this, open a new file, open a new this thing. I'll put it here. I call modus. Project 1, create a network ping sweep. So I'm going to paste it here for you. So I'm going to come here and edit this particular one, so that will not get everything will still be the same. But in this note, we are going to read through this file so that it will look through this file one after the other and scan each of it one after the other and tell us whether they are active or they are not active. Simple as ABCD. Just try it out on your own first. Try it out before we continue. Try it out before we continue. So let me see in a few seconds. Let me see if you'll be able to achieve it. So the program will look through this. So it will look through this one after the other. One after the other. You say example.com is active, example.com is not active, and so on and so forth. So let's see how you'll be able to get it. Okay, welcome back. Let's continue. Let's continue. Yeah. So the next thing we want to do is to go back here. I'm going. Let me not delete it. I'm going to comment this one out. So I'm going to comment this one out right now. I'll set target. I set target. Uh, Domain is equal to open domain.txt, read through it. So I cannot say for domain. Let me use this one, domains. So for domain in domains, so for domain in domains, so for domain in domains, do this. So for domain in domain, do this. What do you want to do? Do this response. So for domains in domain, so for domains in domain, so let's say this is target. Target, yeah. Target. Let's use so. So for target in domain, respond to this and so. So let's run it and see what it will give us right now. What is it saying? So you can see, look at what it's saying. It says, oh, example.com is inactive and not connected. Facebook.com is inactive and not connected. Change to inactive and not connected. And so you can see it's inactive and not connected. So it could be our network. So let's check through our network and see the result of what it is. So it could be a class of this. So let me create the terminal and let's run it again. So you can see, check it out here. It could be a network. So check it out. You can see not example.com is active or not active. Facebook is inactive or whatever it is. So you can see that these are actually how you. So what we do just do, we open the file and we read through it. So we open the file and we read through it. That is what we just did here. Woo! Yeah, we are almost 3 hours going. So keep it up. You have done so marvelous. You have done great things, and so it is. You receive an applause. If you are still here with us till now, clap for yourself. Clap for yourself. Clap for yourself. You have done so well. So this is almost 3 hours. Ooh, yeah, it has clicked 3 hours. So keep it up. So let us continue on this. So this is the first project on this we have done so far. So please follow suit in a second part of it. So this is what we have done. So we have done from elementary, from the beginning part to right now, and I want us to just stop here. So don't forget, before you go, make sure you click on the what? On the subscription button, and also comment and like. If you have any challenges, please leave it on the comment section. Go to my, I'm going to paste the link to this file here. If you need this file, go to my GitHub repository and get it from there. Sharply, don't waste time. And so stay tuned for the part 2 of this tutorial. Thank you and see you next time. My name still remains God Day or Chairman. I am a cybersecurity instructor. I'm a cybersecurity engineer, an AI engineer. So see you. I know you are super excited just as I am today. So take care and see you next time.